Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. I'm also a passionate Manchester United supporter, and I've been rocked by this voice note of Mason Greenwood saying what he said, basically, or allegedly said. It's all over the internet. I woke up diagnosed with COVID, a self-diagnosis. Of course, everyone was talking about Greenwood. I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't realise there was evidence or this hardcore content about the situation. Of course, this could have been faked. We don't know how true it is, but it sounds, and some of the pictures we've seen before they were deleted also look very, very bad, by the way. And so it's not looking good for Mason Greenwood. So before I saw this stuff and heard this stuff, I was, innocent till proven guilty, blah, blah, blah. Listen, it's not looking good for him. And this is what I got from the kind of voice note recording. This is the kind of impression I got. First of all, it's disgusting because, listen, we've all been in relationships. I've been in situations myself where I'm not in the mood to have sex. And, obviously the woman respects that. Of course she does. And, when you're about to touch a woman and she says, look, I'm not in the mood, you respect that. Any reasonable man, straight male, would conduct themselves in that way. But let me tell you the impression I got of this alleged voice note, because again, we don't know if it's genuine or not. But with the pictures as well and the voice note, it's not, as I say, it's not looking good for Mason. I got the impression of a young man who hasn't been told no very, very often. I got an impression from this voice note that this is a young man who mostly always gets what he wants. And this sounded like a very thick, uneducated young man who didn't understand the word no. I don't want to do it, but I want it. Do you get it? Do you understand? This is the culture within elite football, and this is the culture in football, where they can do whatever they want. They can get a manager sacked if a manager doesn't pick them. Basically, it's their world and they can do whatever they want. And this really, I don't really want to get into the Manchester United situation because this is so separate to football, and football doesn't matter. In the context of this situation, this is bad. Now, if this is real and if this is true, he must be expelled as a Manchester United employee immediately, right? Now, obviously, in the West, in the UK, in America, you are innocent to proven guilty. So they can only, in the realms of the law, suspend him for now. So that's what they have to do. This isn't good for Manchester United, but at the end of the day, Manchester United can't be held responsible for the conduct of this player. But I will say this, there's been form. Not in the context of this, but Mason Greenwood has broken lockdown protocols before. He's done other things. Has he been disciplined by this club? I hear a lot of people going, generational talent. And I don't care how good you are. I don't care if Mason Greenwood is Pele's grandson. I don't care. At the end of the day, he's got to be removed from the club, and he's at least got to be kind of suspended until this can go to trial, if this in fact, because it does go to trial, but who knows what's going to happen here. You would expect charges to be pressed. I don't know what the young woman in question is going to do, but this is really bad. Listening to that voice note, my heart broke for the young woman in question, and my heart broke for the people, my fellow Manchester United supporters who look up to this young man. I'm sure as you heard these accusations coming in this morning before you heard the voice note, you probably had the same reaction as me. Here we go again, he's being falsely accused. You automatically want to defend the lad, don't you? But when you hear the voice note, when you see certain images, it's very difficult to ignore. At the end of the day, as I say, this could all be, you just don't know if it's genuine or not. I would think what we've been shown that it is genuine, but anything's possible, in this world. You have to ask the question, how was she able to record him doing all of this without him noticing? Because surely if he noticed, he would have snatched it off of her and stopped it. It's a very long, kind of arduous situation where the voice note comes from. So you do have to question these things. An intelligent person has to question these things. So we do have to be very, very careful here. Has Mason Greenwood been stitched up, or is this something that he's done? So quite simply for me, you know, if he's done this, he has to go. Now, everyone on the internet, I think this is one time Manchester United Twitter are all together that this is disgusting and he has to go. Now, I want to sit here and say, believe all women, and that's great and that's beautiful, but we have seen many, many incidents in celebrity culture and in elite football culture where unfortunately young women have lied for fame and for fortune and for other reasons. Now, this young woman may be very, very genuine, and I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry that I have to kind of say we have to hold off a minute and make sure that this is true and this is real, and we'll see what happens. I haven't been on Twitter for about half an hour to 45 minutes because I've been recording videos for my channel all morning, but the point is we do have to be careful here just in case, you know, this is not real. The evidence has to be examined, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons it's all been deleted off the internet now. So if he's done it, I don't care if he's a United player. I love United, but I don't want anyone playing for Manchester United who acts in this way. And it's obvious that a lot of these young footballers think that they can do whatever they want and get away with it. And I won't tolerate behaviour like this. We had gentlemen like Steve Bruce and Gary Pallister at the club, and now we've got situations like this. Look, Manchester United, since Sir Alex has left, has lost its discipline in terms of its playing staff. There's no question about that. There's Pogba, there's other players, a lot of the players act in a bad way. There was even a rebellion formed against Ralph Rangnick recently, if you remember reading that in the press and seeing it on social media as well. There is a problem at Manchester United with discipline, and that's not Ralph's fault because he's come in as a disciplinarian and he's trying to sort that out. You have to go back to Ole Solskjaer, and there's certain incidences that I heard about while he was there as well. And there was no discipline while Ollie was there. He was just a mate, and there lies the problem. And this is why Ralph is an interim to the end of the season and hasn't automatically been given the job permanently. They know they made a mistake with Solskjaer. They don't want to make the same mistake again, and making Ralph permanent wouldn't be a mistake. He's a football professor, for fuck's sake. He needs to sort us out. And incidences like this and players like this, you know, have to be driven out of the club if Mason indeed is responsible for this disgusting act. But what Ralph must do now, and this is why everyone losing their shit about not buying anyone in this winter transfer window, I've said to them, our club needs to get rid of the dead wood first and the bad attitude and the inconsistency, then think about bringing in new players. We brought in new players in the summer. What have they done to improve Manchester United's fortunes? Nothing. It hasn't worked. I love Ronaldo. You know, we brought other players in the summer as well. It hasn't worked. Ronaldo's done well. He's scored some goals. It hasn't worked. Bringing in new players isn't a magic thing that can turn a club's fortunes around. And I think some fans are looking at this in a very simplistic way. We need to eradicate the bad habits and the bad behaviour first before we focus on buying players. And I don't think this time of year is the right time to panic buy. And ultimately, as far as I'm concerned, I think that's exactly what we would be doing. So at the end of the day, we need to be patient over the Mason Greenwood situation. If he's done it, he needs to go. But if he's innocent, then something has to be looked at here, because there is a culture of falsely accusing young men as well. We don't have the evidence. We don't know the facts right now. We're going to have to wait and see. My advice to you is, and I've posted a lot of shit about this on Twitter already, we can't help ourselves. But now looking at it from the cold light of day, be very careful. Be very careful what you say, because you could end up looking like a clown. Wait for it to be sorted out. This is going to take several months. This is not something that's going to be solved straight away. But if he's guilty of this, he has to go. But also, if he's innocent of this and he's been stitched up, the club have to look at Mason Greenwood, because he does, well, how can I say this politely? He does put it around. He seems to be hanging around with the wrong type of people as well. And the club have to look at this. You know, this was the beauty of Fergie. Very strict with Giggsy. I mean, obviously, Giggsy, I mean, Giggsy is going to trial next year, or this year, should I say, you know, being accused of very similar things that Mason was accused of. So who knows what Fergie knew about Giggsy back then, but it looks like certain things allegedly may have been covered up. But this is the problem. You need a transparent system in football. If players are acting in this way and disrespecting women, it's important that we don't show young men, these elite young men, getting away with it. It's very important that young men learn how to treat women, and that's not how you treat women. At the end of the day, it isn't her problem if you can't handle someone saying no to you. If she doesn't want to do it, she doesn't want to do it. There are other ways of getting your dealing with your frustrations at the end of the day. And surely you wasn't just dating that young woman for sex. Surely you could have had a conversation. You could have put the telly on. But Mason Greenwood wanted what he wanted, and Mason Greenwood must always get what he wants. That's if he's guilty. That's the way I look at it. So there's education here. These young men are not educated properly. What happens is they become young footballers, they focus on their football over their education, and they're not educated, and they're not. And here's another problem. They're not educated in the manners of the social etiquette of life either. So, but that doesn't mean they're not responsible. Of course they are. If he's guilty of this, this is down to Mason Greenwood. But what he did, if he's done it, is against the law. It's immorally wrong. It's bad. And we don't want it in our club or in our game. This has been Movies TV Man. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the, what do you call it again? I've got COVID. I'm forgetting everything. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again in the next Manchester United video, and I will keep you apprised of this situation. So until then, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.